Boom, it's green. Welcome into the banter.
What? No,
You know
that's
it's
fine.
not
Let's
green.
go-
You know it's not green?
What's not green?
My Flippy hoodie. They're also the sponsor of today's podcast. Flippy Disc Golf just dropped these sweet new hoodies for the fall and winter season. Wear them to brave that morning round or cozy up by the fireplace as you're watching the latest foundation video with your family. Flippy hoodies are stylish and comfortable, the perfect balance between activewear and loungewear. And check out the new collection on their website, and don't forget to use code FOUNDATION10 for 10% off. They also have a bunch of new shirts and hats we were noticing. So
Those hoodies are genuinely
Foundation
one of the
10
most comfortable hoodies I've ever
yeah,
worn.
they're very, very comfortable, and they have several designs. This is the one I personally am rocking, but they have like this design, but in like navy with like gray spots. Trevor has like a landscape design one. Konner has like their floral design. They have some sick designs. They also have a bunch of new just like shirts and hats, and Foundation 10 works website wide, I'm pretty sure.
All right, now let's go around and play a game. We have to go around each.
One of our channels isn't recording. All right, well, Trevor's back.
I was silent for a second there.
We muted him because we just didn't want him to interrupt any of the beginning.
He's been going off.
He's been going off ever since he got back from Vegas, man. Tell him about your crazy Vegas story that you were telling us.
Yeah, basically.
At the Bellagio?
Yeah.
With The Rock?
I tried to steal all the chips and run out. It was actually Kevin Hart.
Vin Diesel, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Easy to get those two confused.
Yeah.
No, honestly, let me tell you, like, I literally... So, like, when I was in Vegas, we were pretty much there to play a disc golf tournament. Like, we didn't really do anything. We went out to dinner a couple times, but, like, we didn't really do anything. But we had a lot of fun playing disc golf. You know, that's what we were there to do. We did go to, like, actual Vegas, like, right before I left, pretty much, on, like, Sunday night. And...
I didn't know what shirt you had on. It looks very comfortable.
It's just a plain shirt, yeah.
Is that terry cloth? Never mind. What is that thing called? It doesn't matter. French terry.
Anyways.
Go on.
Yep.
Pabst
yeah, Terry Bradshaw. So basically, here's the thing about a casino. So first of all, have either of y'all been into like a legit casino before?
Just on a cruise ship.
Only a cruise ship.
Okay. So like
semi.
Okay.
Well,
somewhat. I mean,
I've walked through
pretty
the
legit.
Greenbrier has a casino.
Okay.
So not a Vegas
this is
casino.
like right.
No.
So like this is like the biggest. This is a big deal. So like you walk into Caesar's Palace. First of all, I did get to see the famous fountain show in front of the Bellagio.
That's cool.
And I'm kind of thinking to myself, like, oh, the fountain show, that'll be cool. No, it was mind-blowing. It was very cool. Like, those fountains shoot, like, 50 feet up in the air. And they're, like, it starts out, it plays to this song. I find it, like, you probably know it, but it's, like, in another language, and it's kind of like an opera song.
Ave Maria.
No.
Ave Maria.
Similar vibes. But it starts out, and, like, the fountains are going, and they kind of start pretty, like, humble. Like, they're maybe going, like, 15 feet in the air. And you're kind of like, oh, this is very cool. And then towards the end, they just start like in a line and stuff. And they're going so, oh my gosh. Like, I mean, I was like literally just jaw on the floor, just like could not believe it. Very cool. Anyways, Caesar's Palace. So you go in there and they have like all of the slots everywhere. Like the slots are everywhere. And those like, I thought those would like be pretty appealing, but honestly, they did look kind of boring. Like some of the slots were really cheap, which is cool. Like you could
penny slots.
Right. So like that's cool. And like there were people that were just like loaded on the slots. Like you'd look and see how much credits they had and they were just spinning over and over again. But then I saw the live poker room. Terrifying. Like that looks just like a bunch of
How many
sharks
thumbs were in the jar?
there. What?
Were there any thumbs in the jar on the wall or anything?
3.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was terrifying seeing all those guys in there. I'm like, those guys would eat me alive. And then like the main gambling room, like towards, I also saw the sports betting room, and that was insane. Like so many giant screens, you couldn't believe it. And all these chairs lined up in front of them. There's like betting kiosks, insane. Like,
were there any sharks in there?
Yes, 3.
Great white,
2 great whites, 1 hammerhead.
Wow.
Great.
So the main like entrance, like with the main betting room, is where all of the tables were. So you have like roulette, blackjack, the craps tables, and then like there's some other like little games that like I didn't really know what they were. And I was like nervous going into the casino because I literally told them, I was like, guys, like I've never, like these people are like in their mid to late 30s. They've been around the block. They've been to Vegas. They've been to casinos. They know what they're doing. And like, I'm like, guys, like you need to tell me, like before I walk in here, what am I going to probably do that's going to make me look like an idiot? Like, am I going to, because you got to remember, these are people in here dealing with thousands of dollars. Like there's a ton of money just being passed around like it's nothing in there. So it's very serious. Like it's not like I don't want to do something wrong and get in trouble or like make somebody mad. So like that's what all I'm thinking is like I want to like
it's so intimidating.
Very intimidating. Like I want to experience this, but like these are all like professional dealers. Like these are the best of the best. Like this is like a top casino in the country. So we go up to the blackjack table first, and like they're like, "All right, have a seat." First thing happens, they ask for my ID. I got ID'd at every single table,
Nice.
which like apparently is pretty routine. Like even some of the tables, the other people were getting ID'd, and they're like in their 30s.
That makes sense.
So I'm getting ID'd at every single table. So like right off the bat, I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And like it's funny because like every time I'd get ID'd, they'd probably be like, "This man literally has a family. He has a child." And so that was funny. And some of the dealers were very fun to interact with as well. We
I feel
actually
like that'd be a fun job.
it looked very fun. It did. It looked very
Dealing?
fun. Yes.
Yeah.
No, that'd be so stressful.
I feel like it'd be fun.
Because if you make a mistake, then you now
I agree.
like you have to give that person a bunch of money.
Sure. Yeah.
I do
But
agree,
like if
but
you're
also-
good at it, like
Yeah, those guys are so like the blackjack dealers, like it's so second nature to them that I don't think those guys are messing up. I agree at first it would be horrifying like trying to get good at it, but like those guys are pros. They're pros. Like everything they do, you can tell it's reflex at this point. But we get to the blackjack table and I have a seat and like first thing happens and like they just cards start coming out. And like I know how to play blackjack, but like I also know that there are a lot of like little nuances and stipulations to playing blackjack at a casino that like I might not know. And first thing comes like I want to hit and I say like I want to hit and Lay's like no, like you got to make the signal or whatever. Like you got because like it's all gestures. And like Brody's like yeah, you got to tap on the table. I'm like okay, Brody. Thing number one that I would have liked to know like how about like remember when I said like remember what I should know before I go in there and I was like an idiot. So I'm like okay, I want to hit or whatever. And so I figured that out quick. And then just like little things like that would happen throughout the night where it's like you just like people are gambling experts. And I feel like if you were in there for like 5 hours, you would also be a gambling expert. Like I think you catch on very quickly because it's a high pressure situation and there's a lot of like tension. But you could tell like everybody else knew really what they're doing. So I played like a few hands of blackjack and I actually went up a few. And then like we went over there. Then we go over to the craps table. And like one of Brody's friends, Chris, was like had like this great strategy. And they're like, all right, bet now. And like I throw down a bet and then like it hits and like I have no idea what's happening because craps is like the most confusing thing ever. There's so many different bets. And we walk out of there and then we go over to roulette. And this is where at the roulette table was when I realized just how well I was at the roulette table and then later on the slots that I realized just how insane like casinos are, like as far as how quickly you can lose. Because I had a chip of first of all, these hands of blackjack were minimum $25 bets. Like, that's insane. You go over to roulette, and it was minimum. They only dealt in, like, your small value coin was $5. Like, 2 of those coins, you're buying lunch.
not out there, you're not.
No, not out there. So I put down a 25 to cash in for, like, or I think I put down, like, put down a 25. I get, like, 4 5s. And I kind of spread them around the board. I think I put like one of them on a color, like maybe on black, and then a few on like you can put them on like the like cross sections between numbers, like take a few different things. So I kind of spread around in an area, and spinning around, misses everything. $25 gone, like that. And I had a 50% chance of winning one of my bets, or like 48% or whatever, because of the greens. Miss. It's all gone right there. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, cause like I was up going into that. Like I hadn't even lost that night. And I was thinking to myself, like, maybe you can like do pretty well. Boom, gone. Back to even. Like just like that. Then we go back to the blackjack table. Lose a bunch of hands, like right in a row. Boom, 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 gone. And it happens so fast. They are so quick. They don't give you time to think about where you're at. Like you have to step back because it's just like boom, 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 it's gone. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then like we go over to the slot because Brody's like, I want him to like experience like pulling the lever or whatever. And because it was so funny. Like they just wanted me to get like the true like Vegas experience. I was really appreciative. Like they really wanted me to like, you know, they were trying to help me out, like get the experience in like a short amount of time, which was great. But we go over to this slot and it's like $5 for one spin. And it's just like, there goes $5 bill. Whoosh, It's been done. 2 seconds done. No win. Nothing. And like there went $5, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like like you could, and then like so then we were kind of done after that. Like we didn't like none of us like lost very much money. Like I didn't actually lose any money. Brody was letting me play with his chips, but it maybe when I was walking out, I was like, I thought a couple things. I was like, I don't really think you'd have fun in a casino like that where like the hands are so expensive unless you were really, really filthy rich.
Yeah.
Because there was expensive hands. And B, I was like the way that like, because the quantities are so big, like if it were me, like let's say I planned a vacation out to Las Vegas and I was like, I want to go and I'm willing to spend like $200, which isn't even going to get me that far, but like $200 at the casino to see what happens. And like, what happens if I were to go in and win my first 3 hands of blackjack and I'm up like, or 4 hands, let's say, and I'm up like $100. Like, what do I, like, am I getting out of there? Like, it was crazy because it happens so fast and you're holding chips, not money. Because like, once you have those chips in your hands, it changes everything. When you first slide that dollar bill and get your chips, it changes everything. Because now all of a sudden, as somebody who hasn't really gambled before, your whole mind is like flipped to like, I'm just holding these chips now. You're not thinking that one green chip I just put forward to play this hand is $25. It's not like I just took $25 in cash. It's a chip. And like, it's so hard. It happens so quickly and you're going up and down that you're not realizing that like, oh my gosh, like $100 just went up like back and forth. Like it's so crazy that like, casino is wild. That was the Vegas experience. It was very eye-opening. It was like, I think that it could be a lot of fun for sure, but like it was stressful. It was intense. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you made it back. I'm glad that it seems like you've been able to eat this week. So.
I didn't really spend any money in Vegas. Like I said, Brody was generous and let me play with some of his chips. He had just cashed $600 at the tournament. So he was playing.
Did he go bet it all on black?
No, he did not. I said if I cashed, I would have put it all on something.
He said he thought he could get everyone to do that.
He didn't even try.
I have a bone.
But yeah, I didn't really spend anything in Vegas. We went out to eat at a sushi place that was all you can eat sushi the one night, and it wasn't even that expensive. But it was pretty good. And I was actually the first day I was like super like sick. Like I woke up the day one of the tournament with like aches and chills and a headache, and like was miserable the whole day. I played my best round of the tournament somehow. Apparently, I have to just.
That's how it works.
I just had to be so like
flu game style.
I had to be so destroyed mentally that like I can't think about what I'm doing. I can only be thinking about how awful I feel.
You just had to get yourself in a flu state.
Maybe I need to start poisoning myself before. That's funny. Don't let that one slip by.
I laughed. I gave him a little like. That was good.
Maybe I need to just start poisoning myself before disc golf rounds, just so like I'm so miserable that like I'm not thinking about what.
Well, I think what you need to do next time you go to Vegas for this tournament, if you go back next year, is go to the casino first. Lose your money, so then by the time you get to the tournament, you're just depressed, and then you just won't think about disc golf.
I would have had a lot of fun. Like Brody in the casino was a lot of fun. Like he's very funny in there because like
was it like Brody and Dave and Buster's?
Yes, and he's like he like talks to dealers and like he'll look at a dealer like as we're at the table and be like we were playing blackjack at the first table and like we were up a little bit and then a new dealer comes in and he's like I think they're bringing in the closer. Like this guy looks like trouble. We got to get out of here. Like says it right to the guy's face and like he'll talk up the dealers or he'll be like and he'll like look at you like once you've won a few hands be like. We got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here. Like, just pick him up. Like, he's very funny. But we would have, you guys, like, we'd have had a lot of fun. The three of us in there.
That's so fun.
We could have done some damage. It would have been very fun.
I've always said like if I ever go to Vegas for like a trip or whatever, I'm just going to plan whatever dollar amount it is as like I am losing this at the casino.
Yeah.
Like I intend to like let's say it's $500 is what I'm for the weekend. Yeah. That's my entertainment at the casino and I'm losing it. Like right. I don't.
That's what Brody said.
I'm spending that money to have fun in the casino. Right. I'm not trying to, because that's where I think you get in trouble. Is like if you try to make a profit.
I think you're right, Hunter. I think the only way that you should like, it depends on what game you're playing. If you're playing like blackjack and craps and stuff like that to where like it's quick hands, it's very fluid, and your money's gonna go up and down, I think you're right. Like you have to just be like, I'm here to play. It's fun.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I think the only time that you really or have an easy walkout of a casino is if you play a slot or you make, let's just say you make a huge bet on roulette and you win big.
Yeah.
And then it's easier for you to be like, all right, well now I'm walking out.
Yeah.
But yeah, because it would be tough if not. Because like I think what I would probably do is like the best strategy for me, I feel like, would be to play, like you're right, have that set amount of money, play it a bunch, you know, and then if I have anything left at the end of the night, just throw it all on the roulette table and just have one last hurrah. Because like at the end of the day, like you can double,
yeah,
obviously pretty easily.
Because like it'd be electric to walk out, but like it'd be electric to walk out up, obviously. But I feel like I would just have to think of like, I need enough money to lose here that I'm gonna be able to like have fun. Like you don't want to go in with $50, you make 3 bets and it's over, and you're like.
I would honestly be curious,
but
it'd be fun if we all went in with different strategies.
Because then like I would go in and like you just gotta think of the experience of like you're gonna have a point where you're up. Because like that's what casinos do.
Probably.
You're gonna have a point where
more than likely
there's the excitement.
I was up like 50 or 75 at one point.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you paid $100 to have that excitement of being up at 200 at one point, and then the thrill of losing it all, I'd probably walk out and be like, "That was worth $100." Like, that's okay.
The energy is when we were playing blackjack and I was up pretty good, and actually Kelsey was up big at one point. She was dominating blackjack, and the energy of like doubling, like put it like you get your cards and putting another chip in behind, like doubling down your bet, and like seeing those cards come out, like it's pretty unmatched energy.
Yeah.
Like everybody's watching. Like even the dealer was like kind of getting on our side and whatever. Like it was very fun.
It's just like when you bet on sports. Like it's the same thing. Like waiting for Joe Burrow to throw a touchdown pass to Jamar Chase and win that Super Bowl, so I would have got like $1,500 or whatever, was thrilling. And then when he didn't do it, just crushed me. And like I was like, that was worth my $25 or whatever I bet. Like that, because it makes you. That's where I think how I view it is like you can't look at gambling as you're trying to make money.
No,
you have to, I look at it as I'll bet on the Super Bowl again. I'll probably bet on a Duke basketball game at some point.
You're enhancing
your experience of watching.
Right.
It. I'm paying $25 to enjoy the Super Bowl more than if I didn't.
Yeah, it's like an intangible thing.
Yeah, like you're just paying for that, and then if you make money, great. If you lose your $25, you lost it. Yeah. But you paid for the experience of like your enjoy versus you actually are gambling and risking like getting addicted to it, and
I would say
ruining everything.
The danger zone for me would be like if I went in, let's say we went on a trip and I was like, yeah, I'm going to spend $200, and the danger zone for me would be like if I somehow, let's say I go up like, and I'm up to like 500 to where now like I've made a significant amount of money. That would be like the danger zone for me to be like, if I keep spending it and lost it at that point, I would be sad. But
you still like that's what you just have to. That's where my
and
mind
eventually
is.
I'd be able to like embrace it and be like, remember that time like at the casino. But like in the moment, like I would be sad. Like if I got to a certain point up, which I don't even know what happened, but it could. I mean, literally, I could walk with that 200, put on the roulette table, and be up $200.
Yeah.
But
that's where I think the mindset you can't think. It's like in the stock
eventually
market.
You're gonna get to a number where you think it. Though.
It's the same in the stock market where like you can't invest and watch the stocks run up, and then stocks crash because that happens. And you can't look at it and be like, I just lost $5,000 when you really put $100 in.
My problem is that whenever I think about those things, I'm not just seeing money. I'm seeing objects.
What I could get with the money, right?
Purchases.
Right.
So it's almost like whenever the whole time I was playing for the one wheel, I could see I had already like literally the weeks before that, I had already been thinking, okay, I'm going to bring my one wheel to our family vacation, and I'm going to ride my one wheel around.
In Vegas, like, the casino would be so fun.
Yeah.
How good of a Foundation Nation video would it be?
So I'd be sitting there at the Texas Hold'em table thinking, okay, so I'm going to have to go ahead and get the title for my boat after I buy it, and I'm going to have to buy a trailer after that. And
what I'm saying is like that's the mindset that I think it's dangerous in Vegas versus you just go in and you're like, I am paying this casino $100 to play these games.
Foundation Nation video where we each go in with like different strategies and see like I think a strategy that'd be interesting would be like, for instance, I went into that casino and I was able to chip away, you can chip up to like 25 up without too much difficulty. Obviously, like there's no way to make money at a casino guaranteed. Duh.
No.
But like I was able to go in there and like within pretty quickly chip my way up to $25. Like what would happen if like you do that, cash out, come back a few hours later, just try and chip yourself to just a little bit positive, and you just do that throughout a weekend and see how that works versus just going in and trying to hit a number. I don't know. What would have been dangerous. So one thing about Vegas that's very expected but hilarious is that you like get to the airport and like the second you step off the plane, there are slot machines everywhere in the airport. And I never had time in the airport. My layover that I had on the way back was actually in Charlotte. It was like 2 hours. Had I had that 2 hour layover in a gate in Las Vegas with a slot machine right next to me, that would have been trouble.
Yeah.
That would have been, that probably would, because like that is the thing that I think would get you in Vegas is people go there for business and you are literally could be staying in the hotel that has that casino beneath you.
Yeah.
And if I were just sitting up there in that hotel in that fun zone, that Chuck E. Cheese is below me, guess what I'm doing? I'm going down. Like that's where I think they get people. I think the tourists,
You got to view it like Dave and Buster's.
right? Well, the tourists I think come in and are like, a lot of them who aren't really gambling addicts but just want to have some fun are just thinking to themselves like, okay, this is what I'm willing to spend. We're only going one night and we have like a set time anyways. Cause like having somewhere to be is very important.
Oh yeah.
Like you should almost probably, like I had a flight to catch, but like you should have something you need to be at, I think. But if I was up in a hotel and I'm like, well, I've got a business meeting in the morning and then I've just got all day. Oh gosh, that is where it would be troublesome. That's where I'd almost need to get myself like into a poker game or something to where I know I could stay in for a while, because like unless I
think that's what I would do. I would go to Texas Hold'em, and I would probably save a little bit for like slots and stuff, but I would mainly do Texas Hold'em because I know that my Texas Hold'em playing is safe, and I will either chip my way up or barely chip my way down. And if I'm chipping my way down, I'm still having enough time to have fun.
Till you get
That's
dealt,
what I think I would just
till you
go.
get dealt like a flush on the first hand and somebody beats you
Yeah,
like a
true.
full house.
I think my strategy would just be, like, let's just say $200. I would just like pick out like
where you want to allocate it.
well, like I'd find like the cheapest places so that I could play like 20 games or something.
Right.
And just like know that's that. Like
Well,
I'm
on
gonna
the
spend
penny
this
slots,
200
You can go for a while.
and just, you know, if I spend the 200 and I end up I still have $300 left after I just spent the 200, then sure, we'll keep playing with that.
Right.
And then like if I get bored and I'm up, great. If I spend it all, then I'm gonna go stand over someone's shoulder and
Yeah. Texas
vibe
Hold'em,
off their energy.
Texas Hold'em would be the most fun for me to play. I actually had a lot of fun playing blackjack. It's very fast paced. It's super easy to get the hang of. Craps looks super complex, even though it did look very cool. And like throwing the dice looked like a lot of fun too. But Texas Hold'em looked like the most intimidating table. Not because like I know poker pretty darn well. Like I was very into poker for a while, but I've never played at a serious level to where like I might do something. Like I know the general rules, right? Like, you know, don't flash somebody's cards, you know, this and that. There are certain rules of poker, but like I don't know. I might do something that is not customary at a Vegas poker table and get in trouble by the people I'm
That's why
playing
I think
against.
the best thing to do is, I can't remember what the table's called, but where you're playing against the dealer.
That's like they
So
had a
you
bunch
all-
of three card poker.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So everyone at the table is not playing against each other. They're all just playing their own game against the dealer.
Yeah.
That's what we did on the cruise ship, and it made it to where it was a lot less stressful, because even like the old lady beside us would be like, all right, so just to let you guys know, if you put your chips here, this is what this does, and she's like explaining stuff to us,
Right.
so, because like we're not playing against each other.
Yeah, some of the dealers, that's the other thing, is like some of the dealers were like very, very friendly. Like they would help you out if like, because like the good thing about the dealers is like they, at the end of the day, they know they're going to beat you.
Yeah.
So like they are willing to help you out if you ask them, but they're also like very patient. Like, yeah, like go ahead and do this. Some of the dealers were like super impatient, and like I was like, I'm literally trying to throw money at you. Like I understand that, like it can't be some crazy occurrence that somebody new to the casino walks in.
Yeah.
Like that. But the system in there, for one of the crazy things about the casino was seeing all the cameras. Oh my
dang.
gosh! Like every ceiling tile in that entire humongous place had one of those black circular cameras on there, and like how many pit bosses and security people. Holy cow! Like you can just like if You can just see it all happening. Like, it is nuts. And like the system they have to like put money away, like take out the drop boxes. Oh my gosh, insane. Those things
Casinos are fascinating.
They are one of the more fascinating and complex logistic, like beautiful things there is. Like, it's insane to watch it work. It's like poetry in motion.
I just had this thought because I was gonna tell a story about whenever I like played poker on the cruise ship, and I was like, oh, I already told that story on Banter at some point, probably. And we always get in these situations where, you know, we end up telling each other stories that we've already heard before and stuff like that. And I was just wondering if there were people that listen to the Banter that feel the same way. Like, we'll start to tell a story and they'll be like, oh, you've already told that story before.
Probably.
Surely.
Probably.
Because I know that we've retold stories on here before, but it's just so funny to think about that people would have that experience with us through a podcast.
Do you know Mattress Mack?
Yeah.
The dude that just throws crazy money around.
Down 2-1 to the Phillies right now.
Well, yeah. So did you hear about the promotion he did, though?
Well, he does like betting promotions with his mattress company.
Yeah.
That's how he got big.
Well, so what he did was he bet on the Astros to win the World Series, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Then he told people in his mattress store, if you buy a mattress during this certain promotional period, if the Astros win the World Series,
you get it back. You can return it.
No, he's going to give them a refund and double it.
Wow.
So if you paid $1,200 for a mattress during the promotional period and the Astros win, you get $2,400 cash.
So he's hedging his bet with his business.
So essentially, it was a marketing promotion because
That's
if
incredible.
he wins, if the Houston Astros win, he's going to get like $4 or $5 million, I think.
More than that,
I think.
Well,
Maybe he bet,
no, because
I don't remember if he bet $3 million or if he's getting.
I think he bet that much, but they are favorites, so he probably will make like.
Well, no, but he
5
bet
or
at the
6.
beginning of the season.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
so it was plus something.
I forget what it was, but he's
gonna make
getting a lot of money, but he basically is like, this is a marketing expense because I'm using it to drive traffic in my store.
Right.
Because if it hits, then he's going to have to use that money to pay out everyone who he got to come buy mattresses during that time. But then if it doesn't hit, he's like, well, I got a bunch of mattresses sold because like if I needed a mattress and I knew the mattress store was like, hey, for the next 3 weeks, if you buy a mattress and the Houston Astros win the World Series, you get a refund plus you get double your money back. I'd be like,
crazy.
Why the heck?
It's
would I
one
not
of the
buy
most
this?
brilliant marketing schemes. I saw that TikTok about like because that's how he started. That's how he got big in the first place, was doing doing those bet promotions, and like literally, it's one of those things like you can hardly even believe it's legal.
Yeah.
But there's nothing sketchy going on. But like I couldn't like it's genius.
I'm gonna Google how much he's gonna make.
It's so genius. I think he bet like $3 million. I mean, it makes sense because people always like because he makes these bets like every year.
Yeah.
But yeah, the fact that he's hedging it with business profit is like insane. Sauce, where's that music coming from? Behind us, probably.
Oh, so if the Astros win, Mattress Mack will make $75 million.
Oh my god!
I think I'll cover.
I think he bet 4
I think
at the beginning of the year. It would be.
He hit it in like 2017.
It would be the largest payout in a single legal sports bet in U.S. history.
I wonder what sports book he's using.
I don't know.
Who's covering that?
Yeah, he would win $75 million if they win the World Series. And they're in the World Series.
They're down 2-1.
They're down to the Phillies, but they're in the World Series.
They are in the World Series.
So, I mean, I imagine that. Like, you just know $75 million if this team wins, and you're sitting there watching them, and you can't do anything. Because, like, I felt that way with, like, $1,400 when I bet, like, 25 on the parlay. And I'm just like, Joe Burrow just needs to throw to Jamar Chase, and then he'd win the Super Bowl. That's it. And, like, imagine sitting there, and it's $75 million waiting for you, and you're like, you just need to hit a home run.
I've never really.
Bryce Harper needs to not hit this ball.
I've never dabbled in the sports betting game nearly enough, and because I barely ever have, to like feel the ultimate ups and downs of it. Like anytime I do, it's usually like on a huge sporting event, and it's a crazy parlay because like
those are just fun.
Because the what ifs are very fun. Because like I understand that if you want to be good at sports betting, like there are times that parlays make sense, but a lot of times you're literally betting on like favorites a lot of times.
Yeah, but parlays are way more fun.
Right.
Like you can throw $10 into a crazy parlay and literally win like $1,000 or $2,000.
Right. And that's what I'm willing to do because like I'm not willing to bet a lot of money, but I understand that like if you want to bet, a lot of times good bets are like I'm going to bet $2,000 to win $2,500.
Yeah.
Like that's
but like that's just terrifying.
That's terrifying
because then
exactly.
it's like if an upset happens, I lose $2,000.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
And like
crazy.
that's where things get sketchy. So, but I know one of these days, like I'll hit a parlay or something. Maybe I'll go less aggressive on a parlay and it'll hit. And I look forward to maybe one day feeling the thrill of victory.
Yeah.
So far, it's been all defeats.
The only bet
I got very close on the NFC title game last year.
I did
very
the,
close. Almost won like $1,000.
I did the Barstool had like a first deposit promo. So I deposited like 15. I forget what it was, but
I think you had to do 7.
was it 7? I deposited
So
whatever.
if you did $77, they would give you 70.
That must have been. I did whatever it was, and then I bet on Duke as the favorite over UVA, like the day or two before the Super Bowl, and then watched the Duke game. The Duke won, so I got my initial deposit back from that, pulled that deposit out, and then just bet all of the house money on the Super Bowl parlay.
Super Bowl
And then just
parlays
wrote
are
it
fun.
and just watched it, and I was one throw away from winning it.
This year, I'm
But it was
gonna
electric.
I'm gonna go less aggressive on my Super Bowl.
I think I'm
parlay,
going more.
But I think what I'm
I
gonna
think I'm gonna do 3 parlays and put $10 each.
That's what I'm saying. I think I'm gonna do like multiple smaller parlays. Like let me get, the point spread and somebody to catch a touchdown, and then we do that. Like find like little individual.
Well, I'll
bets.
make one that's crazy. I want one like 10-leg parlay.
Yes, you have to have one like what if parlay.
Yeah.
for sure. But I think like last year, like I probably put in $25 to
I
try
wonder
and
if I
win.
can find
like,
I don't have the sports
to try and
book
win
app
like a
anymore.
couple $1,000s. Like this year, it's like let me try and hit like
But like that's so electric.
let me put in like $50 across like 5 parlays.
The key too is making sure none of them can end in the first half.
Yes, I agree. You
You don't want any halftime bets.
if you're gonna do a long parlay, yes.
Yeah, because you don't want anything where it's like, well,
You want to be able to keep
the over in the
rooting.
first half didn't hit, so my whole parlay's done.
Yeah,
Because like that's what the second I needed the Bengals to win. I needed Joe Burrow to throw one more touchdown, and I needed Jamar Chase to catch one more touchdown. That was it. And if the Bengals got a touchdown, the Bengals won. So I needed Joe Burrow to throw to Jamar Chase.
Didn't he have Jamar Chase on like the last play?
He was wide open, wide open on the last play.
I forgot
of it.
about that.
Yeah, because I needed the
He
over
had
to
him.
hit. So I was rooting for. Was it LA they were playing?
Yeah.
I was rooting for LA to score, which they did.
Yeah.
So that made my over safe because if the Bengals scored, the over was hit, and then I needed just Jamar Chase, who was wide open, way downfield, easy touchdown. Joe Burrow to throw to him, who like, how did Jamar Chase not have a touchdown that game? And then the Bengals win, and then it would have hit. And I was just sitting there watching that final play, screaming at the TV.
That was definitely the most fun I've ever had watching the Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying.
It's so fun.
That is, I think, the safest. Not even safest. That is the only way to gamble in my mind.
Yeah.
Is just you're paying
For
whatever
entertainment.
you're comfortable paying. For some people that might be $3,000. Good for freaking you. For me,
Good
it's
for
like
frickin' you,
$25,
man.
right?
Yeah.
I'm paying that because I know is going to make the Super Bowl with my friends way
Right.
more enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's like I'm paying an entry fee to a party.
And I'm pretty much only ever going to do it too when I'm in a group setting where like
Yeah, if you're sitting at home, like sitting at home when the Duke bet hit was fun.
yeah, it's
But
not
Liz
that
was asleep, and I was just sitting on the couch by myself, and I was like, yes, cool. And like it was nowhere near as fun as like sitting there and like you have the chance of like if my bet doesn't hit, Trevor's might hit, or Connor's might hit, or Kent's might hit, and you're like all sitting there together.
Yeah.
To where everyone's just talking about what, and you're way more invested in the game. It makes the game way more fun.
True.
Only bet I might do that's like a weird one next year is like the length of the national anthem because I think that's a funny one. You're
Yeah,
sitting there with a
prop
timer
bets,
and you're
I'd
like,
like to do-
come on, hold the final note, 3 more seconds, come on.
I'd like to do like a prop parlay where see if I can parlay like coin toss if the first kick is going to be a touchback, like those kind of things. That'd
Yeah.
be a fun like little mini parlay.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to be a Super Bowl this year.
It's not Tampa Bay,
Right now, if
I'll
I
tell you that.
if I had to predict the Super Bowl right now, the NFC is garbage, but like the Eagles kind of look like a wagon at this point. So maybe it'd be like Eagles Bills.
I think the Bills are going to win.
Yeah, well, Bills have had a tough history in the postseason as an organization.
Yeah, but not this year, man.
I love
Bills
Josh
Mafia.
Allen. I love Josh Allen.
Bills Mafia, let's ride. That's what's going to happen. The Broncos are going to win.
Nightmare Super Bowl for me would be like Eagles Chiefs. Like I don't know who I want to win that game. Probably the Eagles,
I would want the Eagles. I know more Eagles fans than
but
Chiefs fans.
Philadelphia sports fans sometimes can be a little stressful.
But imagine if they won the World Series and the Super Bowl.
I am rooting very hard for the Phillies. I'm rooting very hard for the Phillies.
Couldn't Philadelphia even handle that if they win this World Series and the Super Bowl this year?
I'm trying to think.
What would happen?
The last time they won the World Series, I think, was like 08 or 09.
Are the 76ers filthy this year or no?
I mean, they're always going to be decent because they have Embiid and Harden. Like, they'll make the playoffs for sure.
So, like, they could. What if they went NBA, MLB, NFL titles?
NHL.
Are they good?
The Flyers. I think they actually had a good start to the season.
What if Philadelphia just swept it?
That would be chaos. That would be sad. If they won, like, even just like if they get this World Series, which honestly is looking pretty, like they look like they're going to win the World Series. And if they get this World Series and like they're undefeated right now, like vibes in Philadelphia right now must be through the roof.
I have one of my
if you're not familiar with how Philadelphia sports fans are, like literally after like big wins, they will grease up the light poles so that people don't climb up them.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's a real thing.
One of my old high school teachers who lives here again is from Philadelphia. Well, from Pennsylvania. I don't know if he's from Philadelphia. He's from just outside, I think.
If he's from anywhere than like 50 miles, he probably claims Philly.
Big Philadelphia sports fan. So I've seen him posting about the Phillies. I've seen him post about the Eagles already multiple times.
I like the Phillies. What I can like about the Philadelphia organizations is their fan base is committed, even if they are a little wacko sometimes. They're a committed fan base, and they're not like some huge market, big money spenders. They do have money. They're not small market, obviously. They're Philadelphia. But I feel like they're well-run organization. Like the Eagles football team is just kind of like been pieced together. I like Jalen Hurts. And then like
I have to go to the bathroom really quick.
The baseball team.
I was trying to hold it. I can't.
They made good draft picks, and they've got Bryce Harper.
Dog? What is this music?
Can I pet that dog?
Y'all entertain.
Oh, Connor, dude, sports talk. What do you think about the Phillies, man?
I think that they're the best foosball team I've ever seen in my life. And if I could choose one game of pinball that I liked the most,
you know what?
It would be.
You actually bring up a great topic.
Okay.
On your little jokeston, tabletop games. So like foosball, I would throw ping pong in the mix. All of those. What is like your all-time favorite?
I mean, I think I would probably have to say ping pong.
Take away ping pong is too good.
Yeah, ping pong is too much of a sport.
It's too fun.
I like skee ball.
That's not tabletop.
Shuffleboard.
That's a fun one. I think in a future life, I would love to have like a game room where I have a bunch of tabletop games.
Yes.
You know what's a game that I played at summer camp and I haven't played since, and I don't know if it was a good game, but we were all really addicted to it. It was called carpet ball.
What the heck is that?
So basically, the way the game worked was think about a table similar dimensions to a shuffleboard table, long and skinny.
Okay.
And it is it goes down into it, right? So it's kind of like a canal almost.
Okay.
And then it's carpeted. That's why they call it carpet ball. Mm-hmm. And then on each end, like on each of your ends, there's like a space for the balls to fall down into, like a pocket almost.
Okay.
And you're playing with pool balls. And each of you has the same amount of balls, and then there's like a cue ball that you throw or you roll. And you line up your balls however you want on your end. Usually you line them up on the sides of the walls. That's like the best place to go. And then you take turns trying to knock them into the other person's pocket. And I think there's more to it than that, I think. Or maybe there wasn't. But we like line up around that table to play carpet ball.
Carpet ball is fun.
Like, it was a very good game.
The youth group, I didn't go to this youth group, but one of my friends was the youth pastor at this youth group. And so every once in a while, we'd have like a school event or something at the youth room there. Mm-hmm. And they had pool, they had carpet ball, ping pong, all that. Y'all ever play Polish pool?
No.
So Polish pool, I don't fully remember exactly.
Wait, is it where you're like, you run around and you try to hit?
You throw the ball.
Yeah. We called that spud. I think.
I don't fully remember the rules.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think I remember it.
But it was a very fun game when we played it. Because I remember the rules not being clear enough that there was just a lot of arguments about I'm not actually out. But
let me tell you a pool game that my brothers and I used to play. It was very dangerous. We basically one of my grandparents had a pool table in their basement, and the game we would play is that we each you'd only be one ball in play at a time, and you would just basically roll it as hard as you could at the other person's 2 pockets and try and get it in one, and they would have to, if they were brave enough, block it.
Oh my
And
gosh.
sometimes the ball would get air. It would end up like hitting a wall. And like we would roll these things so freaking hard. It was terrifying.
That sounds fun.
So Hunter, I think that the game that I'm thinking of is the same thing as Polish pool.
It sounds similar.
Where you have, so there's 2 balls in play, and the one is the ball.
You're trying to get a ball in a pocket.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you throw. So you have to be on the opposite side from the ball that you're trying to hit.
That's how you're running.
It has to be. Yeah. So you're running around, and you have to get to the other side, and you throw the ball at it, and you're trying to get in the pocket. If you don't, you just. But then the next person
person's
the
in
next
line.
person after you. If you get it in the pocket, then the person after you is out.
If
That's why
Polish
we
to
called
a
it
table-
Polish, because we played it. Polish ping pong
Is
very
ping pong.
similar.
It's similar, yeah.
Polish
rule
ping pong
base.
is the best game ever.
And so that's what it was called. We called it Polish pool.
Polish ping
but
pong.
Polish pool is
rocks.
very, very.
I thought
fun.
of a hypothetical while I was peeing.
Okay.
Good.
So let's just say that a university called you
Okay.
and you had to teach a class for an entire semester on any subject of your choice, but it has to be a college level.
And you
topic.
don't get to pick a
Dang.
curriculum. You have to make the curriculum.
You make the curriculum.
Okay.
Is there a topic that you think you could teach a semester of college on? And if so, what is it?
Definitely.
Oh,
Definitely.
well, what's the subject?
For
Is
like,
it? Are we doing like you can use resources, or like based off your knowledge right now?
yeah, like are
Based
you
off
allowed?
based off your knowledge, but you could use like books and stuff. But like,
Because you could teach any class.
but
and
like
just go
you're
through.
you'd have to lecture.
Gotcha,
Or like,
okay.
So you'd have to
Okay.
know enough that like if you're questioned on something.
So this is based off of
The only
this is really
topic
based off
I
of
think-
knowledge you have now.
the only topic I think I could actually confidently do is disc golf.
Oh,
I think that'd be it.
I think I could lecture on a few. I could lecture on like the sports that I played the most. So probably baseball. Probably baseball and disc golf would be the 2 that I would be like very
are
confident.
those classes?
Am I? Well, I'm just that's the only topic I
Okay,
could like
understand.
teach.
Okay, you're good.
Hey,
I
Anything
could
can be
teach
a
like
class, man.
I think I could teach high school marketing.
I took a hockey class.
I don't think
at
I could
school.
quite do college marketing
Okay.
yet.
I literally took a hockey class at school. It was like there's like phys ed classes.
I mean, I took a college disc golf course actually. Now I think about it, the community college.
Yeah,
There you go.
like they're definitely, as far as like a more academic subject, I'd like to think there are like the intro class in sport management and some of the ones that are more general concepts, and maybe even the marketing one, because I liked that class a lot. I'd like to think I could get those classes along, not as well as like I don't have the experience that the professors had because like they worked in those industries a lot more, but I'd like to think I could give it a shot.
I could definitely fake.
I could fake any.
I
of the
could
classes.
fake like marketing
Except
or
for, like,
any design
until you
class.
get, yeah, anything that's like.
But I'm saying like
business.
confidently teach. Like I'm not worried about a student knowing more than me.
The only thing I would consider myself like, I would say like obviously because I've like done disc golf for like a decade and I work in it now, it's probably the one thing that I am
That's
like
what
an
I was saying.
expert in.
Because like I definitely think social media / design or marketing, I could teach a high school course and like
Yeah.
not have stress in the world.
Right, yeah.
I actually tried. My old high school was hiring a graphic design teacher like 2 years ago.
Oh.
And I was like, I interviewed for it, and then they ended up going with someone else because I could only teach graphic design because I couldn't teach full time, but they found someone who could teach full time, and they let him teach graphic design and something else.
I could do an
Gotcha.
INFT, like a basic level INFT.
Yeah.
Where I'm teaching like a few things in Excel, Word, and that. I could teach those kind of things because I'm pretty savvy on
What
that.
about you, Connor?
Well, you have to remember the classes I took in college were weirder.
Well, you don't have to. It doesn't have to be a class you took. I mean,
Those are the
disc
ones I
golf.
would be able to. Those are the ones I'd be able to teach. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd be able to do songwriting. Especially like the intro class. I could definitely do that. And then I had an artist development like performance class that was about like basically like stage presence and addressing your audience, stuff like that. I could definitely teach that. Basically all the things that don't include theory, they only include like relational skills. I could do that, but yeah, that's about it.
Because I was listening to a podcast by that dude. I think I've talked about him on the podcast before, but Alex Hermozy's his name, and he was talking about
I could teach class on Minecraft.
yeah, no joke, my high school the year after I graduated had a Minecraft class.
No way.
It was an elective.
That's crazy.
Like, did they use it to teach?
I don't know
Nah.
anything about it.
I've
I
heard
just
of-
know my sister-in-law took it.
I've heard
That's
of
crazy.
I've heard of Minecraft being used for like basic math and programming skills because of certain mechanics, but I've never heard of it like a
I have no
class.
idea. I just know they had like I asked her
That's
like what her
fascinating.
5th period was because I was bringing back from lunch. She, oh, Minecraft. I was like, what?
I'm
Like
transferring.
you have a study hall? She's like, no, like Minecraft class.
The heck?
Which then again, in middle school, I took a class on Beowulf. It was an elective. I just needed another credit hour, and
Gabby took
someone
a-
taught a class on Beowulf.
Gabby took a class on the Holocaust.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. It's like you can you just pick a subject you know a lot about.
True.
But anyways, this Alex Hermosi guy was on the podcast, and he was talking about because he just in the last like year started doing social media and like talking a lot about, and he just talks with so much like expertise on just like business and growing businesses and stuff. And the stuff he says is just like fascinating. Like it's stuff that like I just don't hear other places. And he was talking about his investment strategy first, and then he rolled it into like education because his investment, he was saying how he thinks that like people ask him like, what should I invest in? And he thinks that it's just so dumb because he said people are looking at like people on Shark Tank or Warren Buffett or whatever. And he's like, people on like Mr. Wonderful, for instance, on Shark Tank, he invests a ton now, but it's because now he has money to invest. If you looked at his like early years, he just only invested in himself in his own business, then exited that for like millions of dollars, then invested.
That's kind of how
And
Cuban
so-
was too.
That's what he said. He was like, I didn't invest anything in like stock market or anything like that. I just invested in like my sales knowledge, my marketing knowledge, and my own business until I grew that. And then he exited like 3 businesses in a row for like 40 million each. He goes, and now I
Whoa.
invest in businesses.
Yeah.
He's like, so like people look at where they want to be and they think, oh, to get there, I need to invest in businesses. But it was like how you got to where he could invest in businesses was he did all this work behind the scenes. Then he had money to invest. And he was like, that's the same reason that like so much of what you see on social media of like these gurus doesn't make any sense is because it's all regurgitated. They don't know what they're talking about. Because like the people who do make sense, like Gary Vee himself and like Grant Cardone even sometimes, although I don't really like him, they all did it. And now they're talking about what they did and worked for them. So they have a depth of knowledge that allows them to communicate it clearly versus someone who like if I were to start doing social media posts on like marketing and business and stuff, I don't have a depth of knowledge to be able to communicate it. Like I could
Right.
communicate surface level ideas and theories, but
It's not coming from
you
like,
don't
a ton of
have
experience.
you don't have the depth of knowledge as to why these theories work in the real
Right.
world. And so that's what I was thinking about. I was like, what like is there even a topic that I would be like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think disc golf
It's kind of like it's like what class would you be able to
I
go into
understand.
and be like, any question I get today, I'm gonna know more than the guy who asked me.
exactly.
And that is probably
Because what he was saying was basically like he thinks that that's what like why like entrepreneurs and stuff on social media get such a bad rap is
Yeah.
because so many of them start talking about stuff that they're hoping to accomplish
right.
versus the ones that are actually successful or ones that are talking about stuff they've already done.
And the thing about disc golf, just using it as our example, is like I wouldn't know half the things I know about disc golf if I hadn't have worked in the industry. Not just because of like just learning things naturally, but like hearing things that you don't hear unless you work in the
Yeah.
disc golf world, and like you know people and hear things that happen that the public don't know about. Like that's where you learn more about the industry and get more knowledge. Is the stuff that's behind the scenes.
He's fascinating. I love that guy. I was watching a video today that just like went over this morning. I was bored because I got up. My son slept from 8:30 till 4 a.m.,
Let's go.
which was incredible.
Let's go.
So I slept from 9:30 till 4 a.m. So I woke up at 4 a.m. ready for the day because that's the most sleep I've gotten in months.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to do with myself. So I watched some TV, read, and then it was like 5:30, and I'm like, I have an hour and a half till I have to be at work. So I just got up and like started watching YouTube videos, and I stumbled on one that was talking about Alex again. And it was explaining, because like I've heard him explain it on different podcasts and stuff, but this was just like a broad how he got to where he is. And it was just fascinating because he started a gym, sold the gym, realized that where you make the most money is when you launch a gym. So then he started a company that launched gyms. But then what ended up happening is basically how the company worked, from what I understand, is like if you owned a gym, I would come to you and be like, hey, I'm going to get you a bunch of clients. But the clients paid him, he paid the gym for when they first started. So if you charged $50 a month, he would charge the client $75 a month, and he would make the $25. But what apparently was ended up happening was like, he said like some gyms would go from like 2 people, he would bring in another 200 people a month. And so all that net was to him, the additional $25. But what would happen is then the gym owners would tell him, oh, I can do it for you. Like now that you're in my gym for $25 less a month. And so they would go and demand refunds from him. So they had made like a few $100,000 in the first like 2 months. And then majority of the money got asked for refunds. And so then he like lost it all. And so he called these next gyms and was like, I'm out of business. I can't do this anymore. Like my model failed, whatever. And he said, then the next gym he called told him like, well, how much like your gym launches work so well? How much like, can you just teach me it? He was like, no. And they're like, we'll pay you. Like how much we have to pay you for you just to teach us how you launch the gym? And he said that was never his like idea of what he wanted to do. And so since he didn't want to do it, he just said like, I'll teach you it for $6,000. He said the dude immediately was like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, oh shoot. So then he called the next gym. He had 10 gyms lined up that he was supposed to start with, and he was calling all of them to stop it. So the next gym when he called, he just said, hey, I don't do it anymore, but I can teach you what I was doing for $10,000. And the next gym was like, oh, absolutely. He's like, what the frick? So then he called the next gym, 15, next gym, 20.
They got cash to splash.
And then he went, once he got all the way through, it was like 25,000 where he ended or something like that. It's like, hey, just to teach you my knowledge, I'll pay me 25 grand. Then he had 33 gyms he had worked with previously. So then he just called them and told all of them like, hey, what I did for your gym, I'll teach you how to do it for 25 grand. So then he started like his business turned into where he was just selling his knowledge, and he started selling like first month was like 300,000. The next month was 500,000. The next month was over $1 million. And then eventually he sold, it was called Gym Launch. He eventually sold that for, I think that one was $45 million. Someone bought it from him. Sheesh. And then he started I didn't realize this, but there was a supplement company, like protein shakes and stuff like that I had heard of, if I can remember the name, I had heard of and like seen everywhere a few years ago. He was the guy who started that, and then he sold that. And so now what he does is he basically owns a company that invests in businesses, and their whole tagline is like, if you do $3 million a year in revenue, come to us, we'll invest in you and take you to, like, we'll advance businesses from 3 million to, their tagline's 100 million. But when he talks about it, he's like, we'll quickly get you to 10 million in like a year or two. Because like we've scaled like 6 businesses now, and we just know what works. And so that's why when he talks on podcasts and stuff, I mean, the dude's 35 years old. Damn. So like that's what's also crazy. But when he talks about business and like money and like how he does things in a way that you just like, I'm like, this dude is just a genius. Because like you hear him talk about stuff, and it's just like, I've never heard anyone talk about it that way. But the way he says it is like, that's what actually makes sense. Like what other people are saying didn't make sense. But it was like, oh, yeah, whatever. And then he explains it, and you're like, that's what everyone's doing. He just knows how to put it into words. He's a fascinating guy. Alex Hermosi. If you're looking for someone to look up, I'd look him up.
I'll look him up.
And his TikToks and stuff do great. He also, if you're like, he's very, very fit guy. So he also does these random like protein hacks of like how to go to McDonald's and get like 40 grams of protein for dirt cheap.
I love those. I was following this guy for a while that was doing he's called it CPD, calorie per dollar, and like he would give people places like ratings on their calorie per dollar, like what you can get, and like he wasn't really focusing on like any of the health aspect of it. It was kind of, part of it was satirical. He started with Chipotle because like Chipotle, you could get this certain bowl that he got that was like really good CPD. And it's very funny. Like
he walked into Subway was the last one I saw him do. And he walked in, and he was like mic'd up when he's ordering. And so like someone's filming him order, and he was like asking him these different questions. And he's like, all right, so let's just do this. And they put the meat on. He goes, that's all the meat you put on that sandwich? You're like, yeah. He goes, let's double it. Okay, nope. Triple. Nope. Quadruple. That looks like a good amount of meat. All right, next. So he's like, all right, yeah, you just get this sub with quadruple meat, and then this.
That's funny.
But his one of his big hacks, I don't understand how, is he gets a tub of Greek yogurt. Like a full tub of Greek yogurt, and then puts like the Prime hydration stick, like one of those flavoring packs in it, mixes it, and he just eats the whole tub. And he's like, if you eat the whole tub, it's 150 grams of protein, all this stuff.
Well,
Oh my gosh.
how do you even consume that?
Someone
Guys
asked
that are,
him
like,
about
in
his
shape
diet.
guys are like the amount of food they can consume.
Doesn't say this was his. Someone asked him about it because he is like he doesn't look like he has much body fat at all, and he is just huge. And so someone asked him about his diet, and he goes, "I don't." He's like, "All I care about my diet is I have to get 200 grams of protein a day." He said, "I don't care about anything else." He's like, "So typically I get 175 grams of protein between my breakfast and lunch, and then every night me and my wife go out to dinner." And he's like, I don't watch what I eat at all. I eat dessert. He's like, every night we go out to dinner, and every night I order whatever dessert looks the best on the menu. But as long as I get my 200 grams of protein, that's all I care about. And I'm just like looking at this dude who's like an ounce of body fat. I'm like, this man's just burning calories at a rate that just doesn't make sense to the average human.
Melting calories.
Because like if I ate 200 grams of protein at my current activity level, and that was just like my only focus,
fat.
I'd be 300 pounds.
Yeah, you gotta
like you just can't.
You
You got to be
lot.
lifting so much weight or doing so much activity for 200 grams of protein.
He spends 5 hours at the gym a day.
Probably. I don't know, but I
You
mean,
spend a lot of time to burn.
I'll pull up a picture of him.
I
Like, he's a yoked dude.
I do think that like the diets of like really really buff guy, like the guy who's like,
This is him.
oh wow, yeah, he's huge. The
I don't even
guy,
really see it.
the
Oh my
guy who
gosh.
is
Yeah,
like
he's just bulked up.
the Mr. Olympia right now. Oh, what's his last name? Oh, Bumgardner. C-Bum is what is like nickname. I've seen like his YouTube channel a few times only because I've seen like his like what I eat in a day when I'm preparing for like bodybuilding competitions, and that fascinates me because I like a lot of food videos, and like yeah, the diet, like the amount of food that they eat and they're able to like stay hungry and burn off is like insane.
Yeah.
Like I could not do it. Well, obviously because like I'm not burning it, but
I will say when I got
Need a
to,
standing
and
desk.
I'm excited to get back to, but when I got to where like my long run was 10 miles and I was running, like 2 runs during the week where like my shortest run I ran was like 3 miles.
Yeah.
So I was running, we'll just call it 16 miles a week, which in the grand scheme of things is not a lot of running a week.
Yeah.
But my metabolism was like finally
you get a
getting
lot
up to speed.
hungrier.
I was getting so hungry nonstop, and I was just eating. I was eating weight like more than I was eating in high school, and I was still losing weight because I was just burning calories at like a rate that I was like, this is how I felt in high school, where I could eat whatever I wanted and I didn't gain weight.
It is true. When I was in good shape last year, I felt that way too, where I was able to actually like eat a lot more.
Because it made sense. Because in high school, I didn't understand how crazy high school was until I got to college. And all I did was play disc golf, and I was still eating that way, and I was just gaining weight at like a crazy pace. And I was like, what's going on? And then I like look back, and I was like, how did I eat like that in high school? And now I realize it's because I was playing basketball every day.
Where do you think Silas went?
I don't know. Hello? Almost. Why? What's going on? Well, what's going on? Oh, you're at Lowe's? You're at Ace. Yeah, just go ahead and get the light bulbs. Just make sure you have the receipt, and I'll just Venmo you when you get back. All right, I'll see you. Wrong number. You know what? That's the banter, huh?
That's the man.
That's the banter, huh? Hey?
Ventura.
Bantura. Flippy disc golf.
We
Foundation
went
10.
from gambling all the way to financial advice.
That's the banter.